Hi everybody, it's Lori again and welcome back to my kitchen. Hey, I'm always complaining about the lights and stuff here in my kitchen, and somebody suggested to me the reason why I was having such lighting issues is because of my black refrigerator. So today I have hung a tea towel up there just to see if it makes a difference. Hopefully it does. But anyway, I just received an absolutely beautiful and amazing gift of fresh raspberries. Susie, you know who you are. Thank you so much. Mwah. Big shout out to you. But anyway, so I would like to show you how I prepare and can fresh raspberry jam in my home. Now you can use fresh raspberries or you can use frozen raspberries. So if you're picking raspberries in the summertime and you just don't have time to get to them right away, feel free to just go ahead and freeze them and get back to them whenever you have time. Wintertime is a great time to do jams and jellies. Just take that frozen fruit out of your freezer and get to it because you're not busy outside mowing the lawn or taking care of the garden or all of those other things, swimming at the lake, going camping, Anyway, so wintertime is a great time for jams and jellies. Plus, running your stove top, of course, helps to keep your house warm. So today's recipe is for raspberry jam. Now I am using 9-ounce packages of fresh Driscoll raspberries. And the only thing that I do to prepare them is to just kind of sort through them just to make sure that there isn't any leaf matter in there or any rotten berries or whatever. And I put them into a colander and I just quickly rinse them off. You don't want to put your raspberries into water. They do fall apart and they become very mushy and hard to work with. So I just do a quick rinse with raspberries and just make sure that all the leaf matter, or if you're picking them from your own garden or whatever, there's no little black bugs or whatever in there, But for this recipe, a single recipe of raspberry jam, we are just going to need approximately 2 pounds of fresh raspberries or frozen raspberries. Now these obviously are 9-ounce packages. I did use 4 of them, so I guess that puts us up at 36 ounces, and 2 pounds would technically be 32. So we're just a couple of ounces over. That's not going to make any difference at all, guys. So 4 of your 9-ounce packages or 2 pounds of fresh raspberries. And then we're going to add 3 cups of sugar and a couple of tablespoons of lemon juice. Now that's all that's needed. We do not need any added pectin in raspberry jam because the wonderful thing about it is the seeds in the raspberries actually have a lot of natural pectin. And as long as you don't strain out or remove those seeds, you're going to have enough natural pectin to do a pectin-free jam. Now, if you were going to do jelly where you remove the seeds, you would need to add pectin. But for jam where you're leaving the seeds in there, no worries, it's going to set. So I have just put my fresh washed raspberries into a pan. I am going to add my 3 cups of sugar. And they don't have to be completely full cups, you guys. Generally with fruit, I do 4 cups of fruit to 4 cups of sugar. But with the seeds in these raspberries, I can cut back on that sugar a little bit. Plus, they're really, really sweet raspberries. And so I just really don't need the extra sugar to sweeten it at all. But the sugar does help to set the gel or the jam, and it helps to restructure the pectin. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add a couple of tablespoons of lemon juice, if I can get my bottle open. And we want to add that lemon juice right away at the beginning of the cooking because lemon juice helps to maintain the beautiful red color of raspberries and strawberries. So don't skip that lemon juice. Otherwise you're going to have kind of a brown final, not exactly brown, but brownish tint in your final product. So the lemon juice really helps to maintain that beautiful color. Now in the meantime, while I'm cooking my jam, about halfway through the process, I am going to heat up my jars and heat up my lids. But I'll cook my berries for a little while first before that. I really prefer all of my jams and jellies. I prefer to do what's called the open kettle canning method. And that is a hot sanitized jar, screaming hot jam or jelly, and a hot lid and ring, and you're done. You don't have to hot water bath it. Now, if you feel more comfortable hot water bathing your product, that's absolutely fine. Jams and jellies only require a hot water bath time of 10 minutes, or steam canning. Y'all know how much I love steam canning. You can steam can them for 10 minutes also. But I'm going to show you how I open kettle can my jams and jellies today. So I'm going to get the berries and the sugar. Make sure that I have my right burner on. My berries, my sugar, and my lemon juice, I'm going to just kind of start warming that up over medium heat. And I'm going to stir this really, really regularly, okay, because we don't want anything to burn. Now, the sugar is going to help to kind of juice up those berries. It will help draw the juice out of the berries, and the berries will just kind of fall apart. Now, if you want to, you can take a potato masher or something and you can mash these berries up too. That's just up to you, but they are going to cook apart just naturally in this process, so I don't take the time or the effort to mash them. So over medium heat, we are just going to stir this and kind of allow the berries to juice up, and we will boil it for, maybe about a minute, and then turn down the heat and do the rest of the cooking process. So until this juices up and gets to that boiling point, I will just stop the video at this point in time, and I'll be back with you in just a few minutes. All right, guys, so hopefully you can see on the cam that my raspberries have gotten really nice and juicy, and they are at a boil. I'm going to boil this for 1 minute, and then I'm just going to slightly reduce my heat. You don't want a full rolling boil. You want kind of a minimal boil. And like I said, with jams and jellies, you really want to stand here and you want to stir them because you don't want scorching and burning to happen. But allow it to boil, and then we're going to reduce it to a simmer. And the way that I do my jams and jellies, this is my lifeline for jams and jellies. This is a candy thermometer. And what I do is I boil all of my jams and jellies to 220 degrees Fahrenheit. And so I slip my candy thermometer right in my pan, making sure it's not touching the bottom of the pan, but that it is down in the jam and jelly product itself. And I just go ahead and I gently boil this until it reaches 220 degrees. So once I reach that 220 mark, I will be back to show you how, oh, you know what, before I go, guys, it's time to start heating up my lids. And it's time to also start heating up my jars. And I've got my jars just in, a few inches of water. I'm going to be using quarter pints today. And my lids and my rings are both in water in a pan also. So we are going to heat these jars to boiling and boil them for 10 minutes in order to get them properly sanitized. So that it is safe to do the open kettle method. Now, if you want to hot water bath or steam can your jam, you don't have to do this step at all. You can put your hot jam into just, clean jars, and the hot water bath or the steam canning will sanitize them while you're actually doing the canning process. But since I'm doing open kettle canning, I want to make sure that I have a hot sanitized jar and hot lids and rings. So like I said, I'm just going to keep gently boiling this and stirring it constantly and watching that candy thermometer. Once we reach the 220 mark, I'll be back. All right, guys, I came back for just another little tip. Sometimes jams and jellies get really foamy, all right? To prevent that foam and keep the foaming to a minimum, just take about 1 tablespoon of real butter and put that right in your jam, okay, as you're cooking it. That really helps reduce the foaming issue, and you won't taste it, you won't see it, not an issue at all. Just 1 tablespoon of real butter, and that helps with that foaming issue. All right, continuing to cook until 220. I'll be back. All right, guys, so I'm back. I have been on a low boil. I've been boiling this for approximately 10, maybe 12 minutes. I have reached my 220 degrees, and I want to also show you, I'm going to just turn it off for now. I want to show you that in the beginning, when it's really, really juicy, the juice will just run right off the back of your spoon, all right? Another way of looking at it is when that jam or jelly starts sticking to your spoon like that and kind of sheeting off instead of just running and dripping off, you know that you have reached that wonderful setting stage. So I have turned my heat off. I have my hot sanitized jars. I have my hot lids and rings, and we are just going to get busy getting these jars filled. So like I said, now with open kettle, it's extremely important to have that hot sanitized jar and hot lid and ring, because you're not going to be processing these at all in like a hot water bath to sanitize and seal them. They need to be sanitized before you fill them. Now we can fill these to approximately 1/2 inch head space, and you do want to work as quickly as you can just to keep everything nice and hot. I need something to set my little ladle on there. Hot jar, hot product, hot lid and ring, and then screw that on firmly, guys. A little bit more than what we generally do when we're hot water bathing. You want to tighten these very firmly, and that's all there is to it. You're done. Set it aside to cool and seal. So let's get another one going there. Is my camera down where you can see what? Oops. Dropping my jars, guys. Let me see if I can tilt you down here. There, you can see. All right, hot jar out of that canner. Fill with extremely lava hot jam or jelly to within 1/2 inch head space. That's about halfway up the threads of the jar, if you would like that little reference. Wipe your rim. Get your hot lid and ring. Shake the water off of that and right onto your jar. And screw that on firmly. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful jam. All right, I'll fill one more. And like I said, work as quickly as you can in this instance because you want everything to just be piping hot. Wipe your rim. Get that hot lid and ring. And screw it on firmly. All right, guys, I'm going to finish filling my jars. I'm going to allow them to cool and seal. For some reason, my video is jumping around here. Hopefully that won't come across in the finished product, but I'm going to finish filling my jars. I'm going to allow them to cool and seal, and then I will come back tomorrow and open up one of these jars and show you the beautiful end results and the beautiful set on this raspberry jam. See you tomorrow. All right, guys, so I have allowed my raspberry jam to set and cool and seal overnight. You can see that all of my lids are sealed. Remember, hot jar, hot product, hot lid and ring, and I can just pick it up literally just by the lid. Really, really good seal. All right, so I'm going to pop this open. Now, I did not have this one in my canner, this 1/2 pint jar. I did not have it in my heated water to sanitize it, and so I just planned on opening this one and sticking it in the fridge for us to use up just, you know, in the next couple of weeks or whatever. So because this jar was not properly sanitized by boiling it for 10 minutes, I do not feel like it is safe for long-term shelf stability. And so, this is just going to be our use it up jar. But anyway, it actually also sealed, and I will show you how well this jam is set. Look at that, guys. This is literally just the next day. All right, it's less than 24 hours. As long as you boil your jams and jellies to 220 degrees or until it sheets off the back of that spoon that you're stirring your jam while you're cooking it, as long as it sheets off of the back of that spoon that you're using, you're going to get a good set, and it is literally immediately upon cooling. All right, it's not, you have to wait a few days and maybe it will eventually gel. 220, golden rule for jams and jellies. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead now. You guys, I'm sure that I have shared with you in the past that I struggle with little seeds. I have diverticulitis. I'm not really willing to take very much of a risk of having a flare-up, and so I'm just going to do just a little tiny taste here for you today. Now, my husband and son don't have that issue with little tiny seeds, but obviously I have an issue with it. So I'm just going to take a little tiny taste for you today. Oh my goodness, so yummy. Beautiful sweet to tart ratio with those only 3 cups of sugar. A beautiful firm set. I mean, you guys, this is a gorgeous set. Look at that. All right, so yes, it is that simple. Just raspberries, sugar, a little bit of lemon juice. Cook it to that 220 degree mark. You are going to have absolutely beautiful jam without any additional added pectin, such as Sure-Gel or Pomona's or whatever type of pectin you use. With raspberry jam, you don't need to use it. There's enough natural pectin in those raspberry seeds to really get a good firm set. I appreciate you spending your time with me again today. God bless you all, and happy canning, everybody.